meetings that we have. The Meet Magic meetings compared to the other meetings that we have. I have thousands of meetings, literally.
And at the end of a 45-minute meeting, I've helped sick kids at the Starlights Children's Hospital, which is my chosen charity.
When you're first meeting someone, you're trying to build a connection. And with Meetings for Good, you just find the connections automatically there.
And when I actually think about what Meet Magic does and the opportunity to spend some time supporting the community of our vendors, but also being able to give back.
And when the opportunity presented itself to join Meet Magic, I jumped at it.
But these ones are different, and the reason they're different is because the vendor wants to meet with you and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is.
All of those meetings blur into one, but Meeting for Good is memorable.
It absolutely makes sense to do this, and I definitely recommend peers to engage with Meet Magic.
And there we are. It is 7 a.m. It is Monday morning, and I'm kind of gutted because England just lost the European Championship. I can't believe that. Literally 9 seconds. Anyway, hi everyone. I'm Carl. As you know, I'm the founder of Meet Magic, which is a purpose-driven platform that lets decision makers pay it forward by networking with the best tech companies to gain insights. So I think in today's world, you know, solving real challenges does require leveraging the right technology. I know executives crave purpose and trust, not pushy sales tactics or spammy emails. So that's basically why we created Meet Magic. I'm the chief meeting officer for the company. So with Meet Magic, decision makers and vendors can easily find each other, and they can share the latest insights and tech trends, and they can filter their requests creatively and at the same time raise money for charity. So it's all about control, it's about relevance, but it's about making a real impact. And for those that don't know, I'm from Nottingham. We're in the UK. We're Robin Hood and Sir William Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army, comes from. And as I always tell people, we always know how to help and what to do with other people's money because of that. So anyway, welcome to the Magic Room podcast. This is where we basically showcase purpose-driven leaders and change makers. Everyone's got a story, and I'm here to share theirs. So in each episode, we sort of dive into a little bit about what inspired them growing up, who their mentors were, their visions for the future, and how they give back now. So today, I'm thrilled to introduce Wilson Howe, who's the head of IT for a diamond company. It's a diamond mining company in Canada called Arctic Diamonds. So it's my pleasure to share his incredible story. Wilson, good morning. Oh, no volume. I think you're on mute.
All right, sorry, I put myself on mute before. So
that's okay, mate.
Yeah, good morning to you and good afternoon in Canada. So yeah.
Gee, I can't believe what I've just watched. I got up at 4:00 this morning to watch the football, and right. I watched Canada lose yesterday too.
Yes, unfortunately, but they Canada in different form. They'll be happy if they win the bronze, which is a major advance, even considered to fourth place. But I know how close England comes. So, but yeah.
Oh man, it's like this is just like how many more times we get to a final and we don't do anything. It's kind of that's why. I feel a little bit flat because of it, so forgive me. But thank you for joining us, Wilson. So why don't we start? Why don't you tell us where you're from? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Canada, you're the diamond company that you're the mine Arctic Diamonds. Aren't they listed on the Australian Stock Exchange?
Right. I was going to maybe clarify one. It is Arctic Canadian Diamond is still our legal entity for the Canadian operation, which include both the Canadian head office in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, but the diamond mine itself is up in Northwest Territory. They call Ikadi Diamond Mine. So now, since July last year, 2023, we were acquired by Burgundy Diamond Mine, which is an Australian-based company. Burgundy Diamond Mine, they do have exploration, but their primary is on the polished diamond side, right? They polish diamond, they sell it, and as our new CEO Kim Tudor mentioned, is a perfect marriage, because now we are fully vertical diamond mining company, including all the way from producing a rough diamond, selling rough diamond in Antwerp, Belgium, to one of our customer, which is Burgundy Diamond, which is part of the company, and they take it and polish and sell it. So all end-to-end, fully vertical company. So yeah, there's to clarify the company. So we changed company name quite a few times, but I hope this will be a very long term, right? So and it's been great, and the investment from the new board of director investor is been very, very good since July 1st last year. So yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I'm a bit of a rough diamond.
Yeah.
Don't they say pressure makes diamonds? Is that what they say these days? Yeah.
You betcha. And a diamond is for forever. It's priceless as well.
All good things come in small packages. But I'm
Right.
6'2", so that's not so small.
And one other thing about Canadian diamond and really Burgundy Diamond, Icardi Diamond Mine is very proud of is the we mined it very ethically. Right, and also we really are very concerned about environment, and also because the location we mine is in indigenous people territory, right? So we really work with the northern community, and so really worldwide, the Canadian diamond is really sought after. And although the diamond price in the market is a little bit soft, but the Canadian diamond continue to hold the value much stronger. So yeah.
Yeah, right. So tell us a little bit about your role. So you're responsible for all the tech and all the security and all the infrastructure for the company?
Right. My role, I'm a senior manager for the entire IT, as we talk about, is not only the mine, but we also have the corporate side, right? The corporate side also include not only the head office in Canada, but also our parent head office in Perth, Australia, and also the sales marketing department in Antwerp, right, Belgium, right? So really manage I would say actually a global company, all the IT infrastructure, network, and the application as well. And the other portfolio I have is on the mine is really a very remote site. So remote, I've described in two ways. Geographically, location is for those that kind of know Canada. There's Yellowknife is a city that lots of people familiar with, because that's where most people, tourists, come to see the northern light, aurora, as well, right? So it's quite north already, but we are 350 kilometers north of that. And the other way to look at it is we are 200 kilometers south of Arctic Circle. So that's we're pretty close to Santa Claus. So that's one way I describe. The other way to describe the remoteness is we actually have no power line coming to site, no fiber coming to site. There is no cellular service coming to site. And also, actually, there's no road coming to site. And the only time we have road access is during what we call the winter roll, when it's so cold, or the lake, we have surrounded by lots of lake here, and become very ice. So we have 6 to 8 weeks. Usually is around February, mid-February to early March, that that is thick enough so that we truck all the, especially our diesel, right? So kind of that's how far north. So
Wow.
with that, the site communication become a very different a challenge than like mining company that have all the latest networking, cellular, you name it, right? And larger service provider, ISP, we have none of those. And so the site communication is one, but proudly to say, our corporate network communication come from Northwest Tel through microwave, right?
Yeah.
But we have 3 satellite feed from to provide our what we call public Wi-Fi, and also our disaster recovery network. So if something goes wrong with the microwave and or the internet through the microwave, that's what we can switch it to. The third portfolio I have is on the security side. So I handle both the physical security. I, as a diamond mining company, the product we actually don't call diamond, we call product, and product, people and property, and so it really protect that. But also on the security side, I manage the cybersecurity as well. So that
Keeps you
summary
busy.
of my job. Oh yes, yes. Again, it's in a mining company itself. We are considerably small, right, compared to the name of Rio Tinto,
Yeah.
the big Glencore, and so again we have multi role, multi department to handle. Yeah, yeah.
Has things must have improved with Elon Musk's and his Starlink these days? I mean, you got to think, is it? I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of competitors out there, but does companies like Starlink really make a difference to the remote mines now?
Oh, it does actually. You're absolutely right. Actually, to give you a little bit what happened last year. What again? The timing was I think impeccable, because really last year you probably have heard the wildfire was really terrible last year for Western Canada and Northern Canada as well. So it's luck of the draw that by the time August-ish last year, Starlink become available in Northwest Territory. So we actually did install our first Starlink, and it was working. And unfortunately, again, during that time, there's a very, I would say, limited number of people have Starlink installed, like in the Yellowknife towns around there, because it's very new. And most of those has been in the southern part of Canada, and like the major city like Calgary or US, they have a lot more availability, right? So the timing was good. And then when it hit the wildfire, when it hit, there were one town called Enterprise. The whole town was burned down, right?
Wow.
And the fiber was burned down, and wildfire was encroaching close to major city like Yellowknife. The risk is because there's actually no redundancy. So if there's only one fiber coming into Yellowknife and one fiber from Yellowknife going up, and then provide a microwave connection all the way to, there's 3 diamond mine around here. So ourselves, and then Direct is owned by Rio Tinto, and Getchugay is owned by W Canada, right? So we were at risk of losing all our network, basically, right? So we were able to switch on, change our Starlink. It was actually primarily serviced as public Wi-Fi, right? One of the 3. The other. Sorry, my light goes off. So The other two is provided by Galaxy and also OneWeb through Northwest Tel. So by far, Starlink was the best. So what happened is during that time we actually switched Starlink to be our backup for our corporate Wi-Fi. So most of the management team and team lead have laptop. So would be if we have problem, we would be able to continue operate. So we switch the corporate Wi-Fi to use Starlink. So we throughout the period of 3+ week, we actually use Starlink as our corporate Wi-Fi, and including attending the Northwest Territory government, the wildfire. Every day they have a conference call, so we can join. So Starlink has been by far much better product, and compared to the other two, and stability, availability. The other one was really, I think, game changing. Is how easy is that to set it up? Right, you just have to provide a GPS location, and you install it, and when they turn it on, it auto track to the satellite. So that is very good, and the bandwidth was much better than the other two as well. So now there's a side story to that. Is after the wildfire, there's in the Yellowknife Lodge Northern community basically canceled their Northwest Tel internet service, went to switch it to Starlink. And I think it's about 2 weeks ago, Northwest Tel as a company owned by much bigger parent company called Bell Canada. So Bell Canada decided to sell Northwest Tel to a conglomerate of 60 indigenous group, right? So the sale happened, confirmed, I think 2 weeks ago. So there's it's challenging for Northwest Tel. If it continue, I don't know how they survive.
Yeah, well, I think Elon Musk is doing a great job, and that's just the facts, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing technology. Yeah.
I live in Sydney, and I live probably 5 minutes by foot to the city, and it's probably about 300, 400 yards by the way the crow flies to the city. That way, it's nothing, literally, and I can barely get mobile reception, and it's really poor. And I don't know why. You know, this is my telecom company is the second largest telecom company in the country, and it's woeful. It's shocking. Honestly, I think in 2024, there's no excuse not to have good reception anymore. It just doesn't make sense. So let's go and find out. I mean, you've obviously been in tech a long time. What was your biggest inspiration? Why did you get into tech?
I always, even during the college, and I always interested in IT. So for longest time, I was working for a utility company. So very focused on application side, right? Application, and also I also managed what we call in the utility company the generation side. So there's the SCADA system portion of it. There's the historian portion of that, right? So for all those, I've been really focusing on. Now I work with lots of like infrastructure network, and I also work with on the project based on that. So one of the biggest project I was sent down to New Zealand, very close to Australia, back in the Y2K time. We started in '99, finished in 2000, and I was sent with two of my colleagues to help. Back then, the utility company worked for is TransAlta. So they purchased 3 small utility companies. So they want to amalgamate the billing system. right? Customer care, billing system, and call center and things like that. So I sat down and work on that. So work on involved in setting up call center and things. So some of those. And went through all and last company before I joined this company, worked for a big company called Canadian Pacific, CP Rail. Most people know now they're known as CPKC because they merged with Kansas City Southern, right? Um, so all those kind of paved the way for me to join this company. When the first year and a half I joined this company, I was working for reporting to the CFO. Again, still very focused on application, enterprise application, right? So, but then after a year and a half and a conversation with the CFO, he asked, would I be up for taking over the entire IT, including the site communication? So I say, oh, for sure, yes. And again, it continued to grow the career and things like that. And again, one of the things nice is I always say is as an IT professional, you build up a lot of transferable skill, right? That, and then you continue learning and continue expanding. And so last year, early last year, March of last year, and again, same CFO asked me to take over the security department as well. It's based in Ikari Diamond Mine, so because it's a central security control, monitor not only the mine site but all the other office like Calgary, and then especially the sales and marketing department in Antwerp. Whenever we are going through what we call diamond viewing, which is a roughly 7 to 10 day, depends. So all the potential customer will be in person, go and view the diamond, right? The rough diamond. And then the day after, that's where it being auctioned through online, right? So again, there's a lot of monitoring on that. So again, it really is a career. I actually thank my CFO, although it was a previous CFO under at that time called Arctic Canadian, and now under the Burgundy Diamond, I reported to VP of Corporate Development, right? So. But really, I mentioned to the CFO before that really appreciate him, appreciate her to open up all this career opportunity for me, and it has been great. So, yeah.
So what about when you were growing up? Did you? Because there's been a few execs that I've interviewed, and when I've asked them the question, what inspired you when you were young? They said it was things like Star Trek and Dr. Spock and technology around that. That was what inspired them to get into technology. Was there anything when you were really young that you can remember that influenced you?
Well, I think really young, maybe not, because really young at that time, we back in Hong Kong, that's where I'm born, and my parents is actually have a really hard and rough start to build up. We actually have a farming in Hong Kong. So at that time we don't even have a TV. So so I have to go to my neighbor to watch a few episodes and things like that. So but when I started to maybe the teenager and things like that, and one cartoon I'm not sure is what was that Jackson.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And then the other one is Inspector Gadget. So really that kind of lead me into a bit what I call the technology, and but early on when I went to the college, I focused on the application side. It kind of lead me into as a path. So just a little bit dreamer.
Yeah, you have to be. I think Wilson. I think it's I think the Jetsons was great. I remember those flying cars, and I don't think I don't think we're very far away from that now. I think it's pretty
Yeah.
close, right?
Yeah, if you look at some of those is happening, like those robot and all those kind of thing is become
Well,
real. I think Elon Musk is getting us much closer, right?
well,
So yeah,
I think I saw the Uber like an Uber helicopter sort of thing, but it's a flying car basically, and
yeah,
they're looking at, I forget the name of the company, but they're looking at harbor cities to
mm,
become the pilot cities. So cities like Sydney that
mm,
have harbors
yeah,
will become the first pilots because if they're flying across the sea, it's hard
yeah,
for them to cause an accident on somebody below. So I
right,
think
right,
it's going to be kind of interesting. I think the
yeah,
way that
yeah,
plays out, which is really
yeah,
interesting. So,
right.
who were your mentors growing up? Did you have anybody apart from your CFO? Was there anybody in your family that was a mentor?
Well, obviously, my parents is one that they're
Mm.
really they're really good person and also really hardworking person.
Yeah.
And in some way, sometimes we look at it and some relative friends may take advantage of them, but they really out to help anyone, right? So that's one. And from my career perspective, I do owe a couple of people. I work for the utility company called Transalta. When I first started with them, they're fully vertical utility company, right? They
Mm.
actually even uh, have a coal mine right beside the generator. And so I there throughout that career I have two really good mentors, CIO. They were again graciously coach me and mentor me on that. And yeah, and I think throughout. And the other one, actually, when I go and work with uh another utility company called Elterlink, which is a transmission portion that is sold originally from Transata. So it really there's a director there, and also the CIO there was a good mentor
It's
to
great.
me. And yeah, yeah,
I think that's great that you got people like that around you that can help inspire you.
yeah.
It's really interesting. I kind of like the idea of mines and what they do because you really have to be at the forefront of what's happening out there, especially if you've got staff in remote locations, and
Hmm.
it's not so easy to give them. In Australia, it's very big. There's a FIFO market, so the fly in, fly out.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, and so they fly to Perth and they go into the mines and then they work for 2 weeks and then they leave. But there's
Hmm.
all these accommodations that they've got on the mines, and so the
Hmm.
people have to have internet or something there so they can work and so they can watch TV and so on. So I think getting connectivity and infrastructure into those places is never easy. But
Yeah.
I remember once working with an American company that did line of sight.
Hmm.
Um, and this line of sight microwave could
Yeah.
bounce around corners.
Yeah. 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 So again, you hit something was really important for the worker here
Mm.
is Wi-Fi, because there's no cellular, right?
Yeah.
So not only for like communicating with family, friends, right?
Mhm.
But sometimes they need to do banking. We book their flight and all those. You're absolutely right. Our mind is fly in, fly out. Right.
Yeah.
We have two fly point. One is from Calgary. One is from Yellowknife. Right. Yellowknife will be about
Mm.
45 minutes here. Smaller plane, but then Calgary is 2.5 hours from the mine site. So when I took over that almost 3 4 years ago, so when I took over that at that time the Wi-Fi was very limited and poor,
Mm.
right? So and I'll give you an example, and but don't laugh. So for that time, let's say still about 500 plus people in the camp, in the mine site camp here. We only have 50 megabyte per second.
Wow.
50, right? So of course now 500 people sharing 50. So like in the
Impossible.
household, you would have 200, 300 meg and sorry, my auto
Okay.
and and you have 2, 3, 4 people sharing.
Mm.
And we feel like it's still too slow. We need the high speed internet. But at that time was very, very poor. We have lots of complaint and thing. Slowly we built up more option, and then we increased the one from Galaxy. Galaxy was our original one. And then we tried to add the OneWeb, but the OneWeb was availability was impacted by the Ukraine war. So it took almost close to year and a half before they able to provide even what I call a stable, available uh, internet, right? So
Mm.
so that slowly increased, and with the Starlink by um, August last year, we increased it to over 500 megabyte per second. So now everyone is happy, and we still have to implement what we call during the peak time, because we have two shifts, right? Day shift and night shift, 12 hour. So like 5 to 9 in the morning, 5 to 9 in the evening. We design it so that there's no download or streaming, so that they allow people to do Wi-Fi calling, right? So yeah, so it's a very, very scary and very, very expensive as well. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
have you explored to keep costs down and to provide sort of a good service? Have you explored things like Ring Central, the
Uh,
UCAS?
yeah, Ring Central we use that for our office setting. Like for example, we have Ring Central set up for Calgary to Antwerp, Calgary, Antwerp, and Perth. All
Mm.
three are connected using Ring Central. We can't really do that for the mine site because no we have limited the internet, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we are using that. It's been very good, and office to office we can direct call, and
Yeah.
at the cost is actually very, very good, actually very low, right?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a Ring Central Gold partner. I have been for 5 or 6 years now. So I
right,
completely I love the technology, and I talk about it everywhere I go because it just
yeah,
works. It's
yeah.
almost like you can have a cable fiber optic cut, and it will keep going. It's very
Yeah,
clever.
yeah, and you can extend it to your cell phone as well.
Yeah,
So there you go. Yeah, yeah.
like
So yeah,
Netflix. So you've been. I think the reason I came across you was because I think you were a part of a giving back kind of community, right?
yeah. We have a couple of those. So one is in Calgary. They call I forgot what they call it now, but it is one of those that from a technical people, they will IT technical people, they will arrange and meet with different vendor, right? And in return, then they will donate money to your charity organization. So yeah, I've been doing that for a couple of years now. So yeah, yeah,
How do you find it? I mean, it's a great idea because Meat Magic is all about that. It's about you get to. I think you mentioned it earlier. Staying up to date and being on top of the latest in technology is kind of
right.
important,
Mm,
especially in the cybersecurity world.
mm.
You,
Oh yeah,
it's changing and the threats are changing all the time. So, and of course, with AI,
mm,
if you don't stay up to date with the latest trends in AI, well, you'll fall
mhm.
very quickly behind, and then all of a sudden it's a
Yeah.
risky business. So, I mean, is that why you use those kinds of services to stay up to date?
It's one of those. Is really tied back to what I call networking.
Yeah.
right? So and for those meeting, you tend to meet different company, right? And so that's one. But the other one, you hit a very important point, is that cybersecurity is really the most challenging. What I call, I even told the CEO and the executive, the cybersecurity is probably the most challenging for me, especially now we have AI, right? So one of the thing I keep giving example is, now the hacker doesn't even need to do the coding, right? So it's a total different world out there now. And the
Yeah.
other thing is, and the cybersecurity, so the I would say that the hacker, right, is actually, now they call it, is an industry by itself.
Mm.
That there's company, they form, they out to make money. Right? It's no longer people in the basement, people in
Yeah.
certain dark room, and as it used to be like that, but the I would say last 2-3 years, it has transformed into totally different thing, different organization out to make money. The saddest part is, there's one group that I don't understand their motive, other than they out to make money, is their target is the healthcare and hospital.
Mm.
That's where I don't understand. Like, I thought there will be still some ethical, right, humanity behind, right? So but that's challenging. But how I do that, but I also join different groups for the cybersecurity. We have
Yeah.
a group called Mine and Metal, right? Information sharing, analysis center. So really, the lead by that group, there's a CISO, right? CISO, and they all the mining company that I know is actually part of that group, including the mining company from Australia. So they do go to Australia and the Africa as well. So they call MM-I SSA. So really good, intelligent in there. Also can learn from them in terms of better prepare. So we're working
Mm.
on the what we call strengthen our last 2.5 years. We really focus on the corporate side of cybersecurity, and last year and this year we really focus on the site OTs, cybersecurity. We're progressing very well, but also the group like that and help us as well, and like they share one of those, they call incident management, right? Incident management plan, which is good, and even better is based on OT. You can
Yeah.
take that and simplify it, make it IT. So that and there's a lot of, because I think the important is make sure you network and with other professional. So you can't deal with, especially cybersecurity, you cannot deal with it by yourself,
No,
right?
exactly. What do you
That's
think? What do you think about the decisions around the allocation of capital? I mean, I'm seeing that the boards have obviously got a risk tolerance, and
mm,
there's a balance between their tolerance and the actuality.
yeah,
I think it's not a matter of if, but sort of when an attack is
right.
going to happen, and it's really up to your response or your level of response. I think
Hmm.
it's important. So I think we're starting to see a lot of people developing their plans,
Yep.
and it seems to be the first 24 hours after an attack, and the public message. What are you going to say to the press when they turn up on the
Correct.
door? That
Correct.
seems
Yeah.
to be the first. What are your thoughts on the allocation of capital? Do you, against that resilience, do you think there's enough, or do you think there needs to be more?
Well, before I answer that question, I will tell you something, a story why we as a company, we actually got the executive really support on the cybersecurity and OT security, and started last year. Last year, the IT capital budget, the cybersecurity one, is actually there's two. One called BCDR, right? Business continuity disaster recovery, and what we call the OT cybersecurity in combined is the biggest we ever have in the IT side. The reason why we have that was the year before, which is a kind of close to a year when I took over. It's the first time I fill out the cybersecurity insurance questionnaire. And obviously, I answered truthfully and was rejected by two companies. Right. So, and it really give the visibility of something we have not we weren't aware of. Now, having said that, I would say onus is on the IT lead, right, or manager, and this is our responsibility to present that, right. So it wasn't visible, right. But that really helped us to validate. Oh, he is a few gap. So we were able to address very quickly within 3 months two of the three gap, right. So one of those is MFA, right. So at that time we have MFA, but it's only for Office 365. We don't have MFA for the network access. We implement that, and the other one we were able to. The other one is what they call a disconnect backup, right? So which is important, like, because if you get breached, then what happens is the hacker will be able to destroy your backup, and then you can't recover, right? So all makes sense. We use a technology called Pure Store Safe Mode, which is good, all within the 3 month time, and then after that we agree with the insurance company that we will produce a BCDR plan that year, by end of that year, and then implement the BCDR last year, right? Yeah, it has been great, and again, it comes in maybe different form, right? So by doing that, it has, and also the other thing, I as a company, where we have a departmental and safety meeting from the corporate side. All the department, including my department, will present, right, what the accomplishment, achievement, and every so often, probably I would say about a third of the time, I will present a what I call a cybersecurity continue to be vigilant session that present and share some of the cybersecurity breach and incident out there. So the coming Monday, actually, I already have two. One is one of the big mine out in Africa. They have a cybersecurity breach. It's on the corporate side and impact their operation. The other one, I'm not sure you have a company called Ticketmaster in Australia, but it's very big in North America. So they send out that they have a breach, and they are sending out to customer, ask them, use whatever tool you need to protect yourself. Because the breach include all kinds of your financial transaction information and things like that. So
isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy how the company lets you, ask you to protect yourself? I think firstly, you should always be kind to your CISO, be kind to your head of cybersecurity, because that's very important. But I think one of the things that really scares me at the moment about cybersecurity is that the hackers actually have 24-hour ransomware support if their ransomware is not working properly.
Exactly. I'll give you one more around cybersecurity. I don't know if you have heard that Microsoft, right?
Mm,
You have heard last year Microsoft, they were the U.S. government, multiple U.S. government, federal government, have major cybersecurity breach, right?
mm,
So Microsoft get called into Washington, have all those meeting, right? And Microsoft admit, I would say probably about a month ago, they admit that they have been more focused on revenue than cybersecurity,
of course.
right? Right. So, and especially now with AI and things like that, now the CEO is actually taking the personal commitment to lead the cybersecurity, strengthen that for all their product and things like that. And but it is really chilling that Microsoft, the big company, just about every company use Microsoft product, and to have them admit that they actually haven't been putting as a priority before, right? And that's one of the reason, maybe digress a little bit, is because of remoteness of the mine. We have a very big data center in the mine site here. Our DR site is also in the mine, which is second cam. So we really only have two on top of the Microsoft Office 365 and Outlook, and we really only have two applications sitting in Azure, the cloud, right? Which one is SAP, our ERP, and also the other one we call Diamond Diamond Management Tracking System, because the head office in Calgary and in sales marketing in Antwerp do need to use that. So we have to leave it in the Azure cloud, and but other than that, everything else runs on our own on-prem data center. So
Right. So it's a very
yeah, yeah,
it's a very interesting world, I think, that we live in. I think I think if you really want to solve the difficult problems of the world, you really have to use technology, and that's
correct.
the
Yeah,
bottom line. I think
yeah, yeah,
one of the things I do see is that profits are above security all the time, and I think
yes,
the public face from the banks and everybody else tells you different, but
yeah, yeah.
I think the banks would prefer to keep the bank running
Mhm,
than to have their customers protected. And this is just something I've heard around the place.
mhm.
The priority is definitely not losing customer data. It's about keeping the bank running.
Yeah,
And because if the bank stops running for whatever 1 hour, 2 hours, then
mhm,
the money and the profit just goes down the toilet. And
yeah,
so really,
mhm.
even though they might say our priority is to make you protected, it's absolute bullshit, because
Yeah,
they're more concerned about keeping the bank running and keeping the profits, because if the share price falls,
yeah,
then so
yeah.
I think there's a lot to be done in that
It is
space.
true. Yeah, well, I will echo exactly what you say. It's slightly give you another example. The U.S. There's one pipeline company, refinery company, right? And um, they actually have to shut it down. The whole system shut it down for multiple weeks. It the reason at the end why they shut down everything, including they don't pump, and you can't go to the gas station pump gas, or right, they are not transmitting the gas, and right, so and oil. So why? Because the system manages the sales to the customer
Yeah.
was breached, so they can't keep track of the sales transaction.
Mm.
So if they type, oh wow, then it's not free, right? But the other thing we want to offer up is cybersecurity also, because it changed so much. You really have to look closely and keep an eye on the technology you use, right?
Mm.
So for example, we actually we started late, so maybe there's an advantage because we started 3 years ago. And for example, for endpoint protection, we use a product called CrowdStrike.
Yep.
CrowdStrike is very different than the semantic or northern, and because those are the one I call the older technology. They work on blocking, right?
Mm.
But if you let one through, well, then that's the damage done, right? So, but CrowdStrike is a little bit different. They don't block, but then they search and destroy,
Right.
right? So and now we implement for both of our corporate and all our end user device, including our cell phone as well, and
Mm.
all the OT device as well. So the other one we really partner with, which is a cloud service, is Stratagem. They are our main supporter to do the scanning, right, and make sure we scan and any breach and things like that. They also offer what they call security operations center, which
Mm.
is monitoring all our transaction and communication, and they 24 hours, right? So they will escalate if there is a any kind of a risk, right, in red. And so we will, and this has been very good, and we expand multiple, and we also expand that into our OT as well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, the third really important one, there's 17 different technology we used for the cybersecurity, but the third one was a really a key change, technology change for us, is we changed it to, instead of Cisco, we use Fortinet,
Ah.
right? Fortinet come with a lot more, well, one, is much more user friendly to support and manage, right? Versus you need a degree to operate a Cisco device, and the other thing is Fortinet built in a lot of cybersecurity functionality, right? Like for example, firewall and things like that is it built
Mm.
into certain device, right? So we already changed all the Office firewall, and we're changing the site OT side as well. So
Mm.
to make it into a more robust and quite transparently, is more up to date technology, right? Not
Mm.
that Cisco is not good, but Cisco is very rigid, and not too many people know how to support. Therefore, you sometime you inadvertently you leave hole that you didn't know, right? So now all our firewalls run on Fortinet, and right, so plus all the switches, and we're gonna replace slowly switches from Cisco into Fortinet. So really make it I always challenge the team to make our infrastructure network simpler,
Yeah.
right? And but it's strong as well, right? So yeah.
Best to diversify and not have one throat to choke. I don't think that putting everything in one basket, like everything with Microsoft or everything with Cisco, is a good strategy. Not today.
Correct. And
Yeah.
and we with to deal with, let's say, to deal with cybersecurity, you not only you have to network, you have to
Yeah.
talk with lots of provider, but you really have to choose your technology wisely, right?
What do you
So
What do you do when you let's say you have a cybersecurity project? What do you
mm,
do? What's the first thing you do? Do you go and speak to the vendors first to understand what's out there, the capabilities?
one of the thing is good is networking, is you slowly develop into, for example, I share with you how we the journey from, like I say, we strengthen the corporate side first, and then we'll strengthen the OT side, right? So it really there was actually quite a few months of a challenge, because like you say, every vendor want them to be your sole provider, right? So but the strategy, the three main technology partner, CrowdStrike, Stratagem, and Fortinet from a infrastructure network device perspective, right? So when I organizing the OT cybersecurity, one of the key strategy for I talked to all the vendor. I started with the key vendor working with it, but we also have other vendor we talk to, is I want to extend where possible. Whatever we use for the corporate, I want to be able to extend into the OT side, right? And it took me good 5 months, multiple try, multiple engagement and upfront conversation, and then at the end, also one of the things really important for cybersecurity to do is what I call the cybersecurity assessment, right? You really need to assess, especially from an OT side, your current state. Is there any vulnerability? Is there any virus? And because a lot of the OT device, there's still plenty of those on Windows 7, but they don't connect to internet. That they believe. So there's no patching and things like that. So you really need to assess both from your current state, both from a device perspective, but also against the methodology of there's multiple standard on the cybersecurity. Pick one, doesn't matter which one, and you assess against it in terms of your maturity, right? Then from there, then you have what I call short-term remediation. You remediate what vulnerability you currently have. You got to fix it. You got to patch it. You got to upgrade, right? And one of those is our SCADA system. I'm very proud to say we haven't upgraded for 10 years. But we now finished the upgrade, because that was one of the vulnerability, because it hasn't been upgraded for a long time. So, but also from the next one would be a long term. You roll out a complete cybersecurity, strengthen the OT environment, which now we actually roll out all three into OT side. CrowdStrike now works in the OT, Stratagem partner with Nozomi works in OT, Fortinet always works in OT anyway. So all those are, but again, is talking to vendor, of course, important, but not let vendor drive your strategy.
Totally,
right. So yeah.
It's very important. I think I think the nation states like China and Russia and Iran and North Korea, they love that critical infrastructure. I think China is infiltrating the US critical infrastructure quite a lot, right? So it's always, I think the threat environment is always grave. It's always very difficult.
And again, it's part of very much what you say is part of the U.S. government, right? Cybersecurity breach. Microsoft even acknowledged they haven't been putting the focus on preventing cybersecurity attack from China and Russia. That those are two I call the heavyweight, because it's government funded.
I think ransomware is a craft now. It's a trade,
Absolutely.
It literally is. It's the dark web is thriving, and I think Eastern Europe capabilities have surpassed quite a lot of other nation states.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's everywhere you look. I mean, you have to be prepared. You can't not take this seriously.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
because ransomware is where that industrial making money coming from.
yeah. And
Right.
you,
So
every time somebody pays the ransom, it's lucrative. So
yeah.
I think I think those SolarWinds hack attacks and the supply chain
Yep.
stuff, all that extensive lateral movement, I think is really interesting in what's happening at the moment. But listen, Lawson, I just want to say thank you for coming on. I've got to hop off and get to another meeting in the city, but thanks for coming on and sharing your journey.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
No, it's always interesting to hear some of these background stories. It's I think there's a lot, even though your company is quite a large company. It's spread out over the world, and so I'm sure.
Oops, sorry. my sensor keep going off.
I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't get much sleep.
Oh, that's all right. Part of the job in at site here, we work 12 hours, but also the other thing is we have close to 23-hour light out there now. So
yeah.
So is so.
But please have a look at the Meet Magic platform, because there's some cybersecurity companies in there. If you've got a project, you can launch an RFI inside the project now inside the platform for 3 clicks.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So you can, if you've got any projects that you want to test, you can bring the vendors to you and then support a charity at the same time. So
for sure. Yeah.
Beautiful. Wishing you have a beautiful Sunday.
You as well. Yeah. It's Saturday here, but I know it's Sunday over there.
Oh no, it's Monday morning here.
Oh, it's a Monday morning, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I'm a day behind here.
Yeah, it's Monday morning. It's the work week has just begun.
Yeah, as a joke that when I work at site, I forget about the weekend because every day is work day. And I forget about the public holiday because it doesn't matter anyway. So.
It sounds like that's the startup world. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support.
You are welcome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.